Hey friends, in today's video, I'll show you how to enrich companies inside of clay.com, and this will be a full tutorial assuming that you have a list of just the company names and you want to all of a sudden then be able to find all the details about the company, for example, the company owner, and then you want to personalize outreach to that company owner within just a couple of minutes. So if that sounds good, let's get on with it. And the first step will be to basically go and obtain a company list. Because I'm super bored today, I thought the easiest way to do that will be by going into this random exhibitor list for, I think, just some builders association or something of that sort. And you can see a list of companies here. I did flirt with the idea of copying and pasting each one of these companies manually into Clay, but then I just thought I'd rather paint dry. So instead, in order to automate the process here, all we need to do is click on the Instant Data Scraper Chrome extension, which is completely free. I'm not affiliated with them. Go check it out. And as soon as you click on that, you can see that within a click of a button over here, we have all of this data. So all we need to do now is just rename the the column. So in this case, I'll just call it company name. And we automatically just scraped 611 rows with company names from this exhibitor website. So you can do literally the same in any other open source websites, more or less, with Instant Data Scraper. You will click on CSV. At that moment in time, you should see in the top right-hand corner, you just downloaded this CSV file. So what we need to do next is basically go into Clay and add it into a Clay table. So if we look at our process here for enriching companies inside of clay.com, the first thing will be to import the CSV file. So the way we'll do that is by basically going to Clay, shout out to my little shortcut software that basically helps you with my shortcuts. And inside of Clay, you can basically click on New, Workbook, and give it a name. So in this case, I'll say How to Enrich Companies inside clay.com. And all we need to do is import from CSV. I will now drag and drop the file, let's say this file that we just downloaded. So we'll just click on that. Now we need to complete the import. Now, quick disclaimer on my side, I just imported a couple of companies. I didn't want to import the whole list, otherwise I'll burn through a bunch of different Clay credits. But essentially, we have a list of 10 companies here. And if we refresh our memory of what we need to do now, we need to name the columns. So I've just done that. So if you want to name the column, you just right-click on it, click on Rename Column. Right, at that moment in time, we need to decide what we want to do in order to enrich these companies. So what kind of data do we want to search for, and what kind of data would we look for manually otherwise? The first step is to find the website of the company. So the way that I'll do that in this case is basically by just clicking on Add Enrichment in the top right corner. I'll type in Google search, and this will perform a Google search to find the company's website. So the way we'll do that is by just clicking on the perform search, and we just refer to this column. The way we'll refer to this column is by using \, and then we just import the company name and type in website. And all we need to do is continue to add fields, and all we want is just the first link, right? Because this will be the first position. So this will be like the first link that comes up when we Google the company. So all we can do at this moment in time is save and run the 10 rows. And hopefully this will work, because to be totally honest, I have not tried this before this. And straight away, voila, you can see a lot of these companies were able to pull the actual company websites for them, right? So we'll do it for all 11 here. Now, to not get confused inside of Clay, and this is the number one thing that the other LinkedIn gurus do not teach you, is you need to rename the columns. So always rename it and be super OCD about it. So in this case, I'm just going to remind myself that step one was to Google for company website. And we know that this is the company website, so we'll rename this company website URL. At this moment in time, we are still in the process of thinking, okay, what other information do we want to find out about the company so that we can personalize outreach at each one of those 394 exhibitors from this list of companies, right? So in this case, we can just about the prospect of finding the company owner. And in this case, I'm going to show you how to find the company owner for really cheap, hopefully. So the way we'll do that is by clicking on Add Enrichments. We'll type in ChatGPT. We'll click on Generate Text. And over here, we'll just copy and paste this hidden prompt, which took me half of my brain cells to come up with. And essentially, all we need to feed it is the company name. So you'll replace the company name with this prompt. And by the way, you can grab the prompt down below in the link in the description. So all you'll do is you'll just basically put in the company name. So once again, you'll select the company name here, and you'll select the company website. So you'll just say website, and over here it should come up with a website. As soon as you do that, Another way to not be absolutely scammed and ripped off by Clay here is to select your own API key. And once again, if you're new to this channel, just go check out. There is definitely a video on the channel about how to connect your OpenAI key, just so that it costs you not Clay credits, because Clay credits are expensive, right? And you can see like I hardly ever use Clay credits, but rather you can use external APIs, which will cost you hardly anything. So all you're going to do is save and run the 10 rows just to check on the company owners. And what this will do is hopefully will find you the name of every single owner of every single one of these companies. One important caveat here is that at the top of the screen, make sure you are not being an idiot like I was, and do not select content creation, because that would not give you the ability to scrape websites, but rather just select web research. And this way, it should be able to find us the company owners of most of these companies. And once again, to remind ourselves of what we just did there, we just need to click on rename column and type in step 2. Find company owner. And once again, if you click on the output here, which is Chris Tecker, we can then click on the output and add it as a column and call it full name of company owner. Now you may ask, why am I being so OCD about this? But it's because Clay is a complex tool. And if you don't label the columns at the very start here, you're destined to absolutely mess up the rest of the Clay table. So at this moment in time, we're still at the stage where we're thinking, okay, what do we do next? So we just found a company, we found their website, and we found their owner. What do we want to do next? Question. So what we're going to do next is click on add enrichment in the top right corner. We'll type in find email. And we can even run with a waterfall. So I'm just going to type in find email. And you can see over here, we can basically find all sorts of emails. I just want to find something that's not going to rip us off too much. And we can basically go ahead with email option. And of course, I'm going to select Prospio first, because Prospio is pretty good. Lead Magic second. And I'm not going to spend on any of the other ones, because it's just an overkill to do that many. And once again, Clay will always ask for the full name and the company domain to find the emails. So we just put in the full name of the company owner, and we put in the company domain, which is the company website that we found earlier, right? And the validation provider, once again, because I use external API keys, and you should too, I just choose Lead Magic. And then at that moment in time, I'm just going to save and run 10 rows. Because hopefully this will find me a couple of emails, and hopefully I can spam the hell out of them afterwards. Obviously not. But in the meantime, whilst we wait for the emails to be found, we can rename the column. So step 3, find email via email waterfall. And what this will do is on the right-hand side, it will give us the fully verified email addresses. And that's exactly why you use an email waterfall, right? Like provider 1 gives you a bunch of emails. Provider 2 gives you a couple of emails if provider 1 doesn't find them. So it's pretty useful. So let's just recap. We found their websites, we found names of the company owners, and we found their work emails. What's next? What do we do next? Now, if you just want a quick win, what you can do is just create a quick email and send it across to them. And the way you'll do that is by clicking on add column, click on the message here, and basically copy and paste some sort of like random email that you want to send them. So in my case, what I'm going to do is say hi. And then once again, bear in mind what we're doing now is we're drafting the email once here, and it will reflect upon every individual person. So the way you need to do that is to basically use the backslash to refer to the column. And I'll just basically say hi first name, and I'll use the first name from the email finder. And I'll say hi first name and generate some sort of email template. For example, something like, this is an example of like a client email that I thought was fairly mediocre, fairly dry, doesn't have any sort of personalization, and I'll just call this email 1. But we can basically just click on save and don't run, and this will generate the email across every individual person here. So you should be able to see on the right hand side here, right? And a lot of the time so far, it gives us no name here if we couldn't find the name of the person earlier. So the way we find the first name of the person is we'll use formula by clicking on insert right formula and say grab the first word from, and then the full name of the company owner. So this will basically just grab us their first names. So there we are. Once again, I recommend renaming this to first name. Otherwise, you will be completely confused at this stage. And we just basically click on edit column. And then we'll just change it to the first name. Now, because this is completely not personalized right now, I want to spice this up with a bit of personalization. And the way that I'll go about this is by using an enrichment called Clayagent. So in the top right-hand corner, we'll click on Add Enrichment. We'll type in Clayagent. And over here, we can use the AI researcher, copy and paste the prompt. Once again, I'll link it down below as well. And we can basically say, hey, visit this website, which AI will visit for us, and basically generate some sort of personalized first liner, specifically referencing the products that this exhibitor mentions on the website. And I'm going to waste a bunch of credits just to show you how this works. So let's take a look at the outcome. In the meantime, I'm just going to drag it to the left-hand side here so it doesn't get too messy. I'm going to rename the column. So it's step 4, generate personalized statement. And let's wait for the outcome. Voila, we can see the outcome here. So it's saying we're currently looking for a supplier of this housing to supply our distribution partners across these 2 regions. And we can see that basically we're referencing the specific product on the website. So like vaccine protection is what this company is manufacturing, creating or whatever. And once again, if we want to inject this output into the final email template, all we need to do is just basically click on the response, add it as a column, and we'll just say whatever sentence, create column. And on the right side of the panel over here, we can edit the message. So we'll edit the column and we'll just put it somewhere. Let's say we put it here, sentence. So here we are. And we don't run it, but it will still generate the message for each individual person. And essentially, you can see on the right-hand side here, so if we pick one at random, it would say something like this. We're looking for someone for a supplier of Yucca Shidera products to support our distribution partners. And obviously, this is what the company sells, right? So essentially, this will be email 1. So we just rename this to email 1. Now, to finish off this funky workflow, all we need to do is click on Add Enrichment in the right side of the panel, type in whatever sending platform you choose to use for sending out cold outreach. So in my case, I'm going to use SmartLead. I'm going to click on Add Lead to Campaign, and automatically I can enroll them in a specific campaign that I've previously created. Now, if you're unsure about how to do this, I'll make sure to link a video at the end of this video, which will show you how to enroll leads and how to use together Clay with SmartLead. So you can set this up within seconds. And then the one catch here is basically the custom fields at the bottom. You need to add a new custom field name and custom field value pair. And all you basically do is just type in email, like email 1. And just email 1 will basically be the email 1 that we generated here for all of these lovely people. So all of these emails will be pushed directly into SmartLead. And then you can basically save and run some of these contacts. And what this will do, if I show you here, is it will basically just add all of these people into Outreach. So you can see added to campaign. And it just added them to some random campaign, which I probably should look into in hindsight because I don't want to mess things up inside of my SmartLead. So in a nutshell, this video just showed you how to enrich company.com. Now, the next hurdle for you will be how to use Clay with a bunch of other sales tools. And to be totally honest, your learning journey will take you absolute hours of misery of watching and trying to piece together knowledge through a bunch of YouTube tutorials like this one. So to shortcut that, if you want to check out the course and learn Clay in under 3 hours, by all means, all you need to do is just click on the link in the description down below. You can check that out for yourself. The most affordable course in the market, 30-day money-back guarantee, 100+ testimonials. You can check it out for yourself, I'm sure. And if you have any questions when it comes to enriching companies, as I showed you in this tutorial, by all means, do reach out, do comment down below, and make sure to like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you genuinely want to see such tutorials in the future. And I'll see you in the next video. I'll make sure to link a video to how to use Clay together with a tool called SmartLead over here right now. So I'll see you there. Now, one final thing that I want to show you is how you can create a template out of this so that you don't have to go through the manual process of just having to do this step by step every single time that you want to send a personalized outreach to your target prospects. And the way that you'll do that is by clicking on the actual table, clicking on duplicate. And what this will do is it will create the actual backbone of the template. So in this case, you can see all of the steps. And all you would need to do is click on actions and import. and import from CSV, and you just basically have to import the file with the company names. So all I'm going to input now is just the company names, and you should see that over here. Company name, that's the only thing that I want to be adding. So let's just unselect everything, and the only thing we're adding is just the company name. Add to table, and we won't run the rows, but we can run rows if we want to, right? So save and don't run. And in this case, we'll just basically just click on the play button for a couple of these rows, and you would see that straight away it will perform the exact same step-by-step within just a couple of seconds, because you're using a template rather than having to go through the pain of doing this manually every single time. So you can see that this is basically going through step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, and so on. Now, this is exactly the reason that I think you should be doing courses and some sort of upskilling training, so that you save those manual steps and so that you can finally automate them. So I'll see you inside the course, and if you want this exact clay template for enriching companies, I'll make sure to link it down below. But T&Cs apply. You will have to opt in with your email address, of course. So anyways, I'll see you on the inside, and all the best in the meantime.